Hello, everybody. This is Steve Yoder. Welcome to the Business Research Toolkits module on researching a nonprofit. These are the same slides that you can read in Canvas. I'm using them for this video to be helpful to you. This is what we'll be covering in this brief video. First, what types of organizations do we mean when we use the term nonprofit, and why the word tax exempt might actually be a better term to describe these organizations. What does the type of organization mean for how easy is it for you to research it? And why do people research tax exempt organizations? First, it's important to note that just because an organization is called a nonprofit does not mean that its revenues exactly match expenses. In fact, we want there to be profits. We just don't want them to be taxed, the profits to be taxed, as is the case on our personal income tax return. So a better term might be tax-exempt organization. Profits are allowed, but they have to go back into the business, including to pay reasonable compensation to the individuals who run the organization. So what are the most common tax-exempt organizations? Certainly public charities that go out and raise funds from the public to carry out their missions. Religious organizations, museums, hospitals, schools are the most common types of public charities. Private foundations are something that we will be looking at. They can be a very, very important source of funding for a public charity. Private foundations use funds that they have gotten themselves, not by going to the public. So a wealthy family might use a private foundation, or a successful business might use a private foundation. They are exempt from paying income taxes, but there are a lot of rules to be followed. Here are some very large private foundations: Walton Family Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates. The woman on the right is Lucille Beeson, and in her will she created what is the largest private foundation in the Birmingham, Alabama area. Another type of tax-exempt organization would be those that are sponsored by government, particularly public universities, like UAB. Note the new logo there. The U and the A are no longer connected. University of Alabama and Auburn University, also public universities. There is also a category of tax-exempt organization called non-governmental organizations, like Save the Children. They are sometimes called NGO, non-governmental organizations. They are often operating internationally, and they can be the source of funding for charitable missions as well. Tax-exempt organizations are very important in the United States. They have a very significant economic impact. Look at this just for UAB alone as to what the economic effect of UAB is in the state of Alabama. And they have a very significant social impact as well, including research into some diseases that has really brought about some remarkable breakthroughs, like cystic fibrosis. Here is a chart that I encourage you to either stop and pause here or read carefully in the actual PowerPoint slides that are in Canvas, what the best public sources are for the different types of charitable organization. As you can see in the column on the right, often Internal Revenue Service IRS Form 990 is going to be the best source, but it's not always available. What do people look for when they're researching tax-exempt organizations? Why do they research tax-exempt organizations? They might be looking for help, perhaps from the American Red Cross. They might be looking to donate somewhere, perhaps the American Red Cross. Perhaps your nonprofit is looking for funding, and you would want to research those organizations, like a private foundation that might fund your public charity. Maybe you're looking for a job, or maybe you're worried about the financial condition of your job at a tax-exempt organization. Maybe as part of your job search, you want to know what the employees of a particular nonprofit tax-exempt organization earn. Or you might be looking for financial data to see whether revenues are exceeding expenses at a particular tax-exempt organization, and you will see that there is a separate video in Canvas about how a faculty member over a decade ago uncovered significant problems which in 2024 led to the closing of Birmingham Southern College. She looked at the Form 990 for Birmingham Southern, and as you'll find in that video, found some very, very disturbing results. That's it for this video. Coming up next will be where to look for IRS Form 990. There are a number of different places. You can see the logos here. We'll be using particularly Cause IQ and the Internal Revenue Service's own database.